Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have had an amazing first few weeks of the year. Tonight we're just going to kind of be going over a couple of the trades we looked at on January 4th, US time, that's January 5th on chart time, and just kind of look over how those pairs performed since then. And then of course we've got a couple of new trades to go over tonight. So obviously we're going to need to start first and foremost with our disclaimer that says, these classes are recorded for future education and training purposes. Nothing is to be considered legal, financial, or investing advice. And last but not least, I practice high risk, high reward trading. You can follow similar steps with safer, lower risk, lower reward styles. So totally up to you on that. I think next Tuesday, so the first Tuesday of February, what I'm going to do is go live with the Super EZ group for anybody who actually has this. And of course, maybe have the admin run YouTube to see who's got live questions, who can help. I just wanted to make sure I gave you guys an advance notice, because if I had went live tonight and then of course you guys didn't know about it, then it's just not as beneficial. So with that said, please mark your calendars for the first Tuesday of February and make sure that if you're either available on YouTube, you can ask any questions you might have. And you can also just jump in if you're already part of Super EZ. The Zoom links will be posted there. So let's go ahead and go over the charts and see what we were able to accomplish in literally like 20 minutes of chart time. Just good management, let it sit, and then come back to it a week or two later. Don't micromanage it. Don't kind of babysit it. Don't overthink it. Don't over leverage. Don't over risk. It's amazing what's actually possible. So Tuesday, approximately 2 weeks ago, we looked at GJ, GU, UCAD, EU, CJ, GN, and silver. So that's a total of 7 trades. Of those 7 trades, 5 of them hit at least one ATR, or like that 50 pip kind of take profit, depending on how you're managing your trades. And one of them lost, actually fair and square, and then one of them did not activate per the rules that we're using. So 5 out of 7 wins, 1 loss, totally fine. In total, I'm looking at, I got about 398 pips personally. That's, again, not micromanaging it. I'm leaving management on this account, really, really loose settings, knowing that I can protect once I'm at my targets, and then just literally don't look at that account. So let's go ahead and review those trades. That is recorded, it's live, it's public, you can take a look. One of the trades we looked at was GJ. So if I grab my crosshairs and we kind of go to that candle, you can do this yourself too. We were looking on the 5th, technically that's the sorry, I can't talk. January 5th candle at that 2 o'clock candles when we recorded that. And of course, that's all live and verified. So, you know, we're leaving our stop loss kind of above structure with some room. You know that we're protecting anywhere around that 1 ATR or 50 pips if you're using pips instead of ATR targets, right? So the ATR of the 1 hour chart currently is about 20 pips. ADR is 100. Either way, we hit about 160 from this area, from the break of that fractal. So that's our 1 of 5. If you look at the very bottom of the screen, down here, you'll see that time come up. I'm not going to do this super well on all of them because you can go look for yourselves. But in total, it's about 148 pips. Definitely not bad. Simple good management means you were able to grab those pips, protect, and or get out, and just go find some other trades. So it's really, really simple. This doesn't have to be super complex. So that's GJ. We also looked at GU, which did not activate per that candle. So if again we go find that January 5th, if I can think straight, January 5th at that 2 o'clock kind of area. And that's 2 o'clock candle on which we recorded that. So all the way back here, we were looking for the break of this structure. We never actually came down and broke that structure. Instead, we pushed up quite a bit of ways, but as of today, we're actually looking for a new entry. So we'll come back to that, but that one did not activate per our rules. Actually, I probably should remove these from our watch list so we can do this better. I'll remove that one. Now I'll go to GU. I'll remove that from our watch list again. And now we're gonna go to UCAD. So UCAD played out. This one's a little tricky, and again, I'm actually still looking for this. A couple of these trades I am still looking for, which is real trading. It's about as real as we can get, right? So that's 105, right in and around here, 104. So we're waiting for the break of this fractal right here. Of course, we got it. There's our pips that we needed. Not a bad way to be. That's 94 pips, really, really simple. We ended up making a lower low and continuing, so as of right now, I'm looking for another continuation to buy back up. We weren't trading at this time, but if you were trading or have the system, you could have also caught this move. So that's UCAD. I'll take that off the watch list just so we can come back to it. EU, ta-da. EU played out actually really, really beautifully in real life. So let me go find those candles. We're using the 1 hour time frame. Where is that at? Let's see. Okay, so sorry, the EU played out really, really nicely is what I was saying there. So let me find that time again. That's 105, that's right in around here. This is the candle that we were looking at. We bought this all the way up, that's 170-ish pips. Now, of course, we're selling down. I'm not looking for this any further right now because I'm looking for that longer term play back up for technical analysis wise, but again, no real entry, at least according to this system currently. So that's EU. CAD JPY was another one. Played out for a beautiful 97-ish pips. Remember, you're protecting anywhere in around that 180R, a couple of ATR, or of course your 50 pips, depending on how you're managing and what level your skill set's at. So let's go find that January candle. This is that fractal from where we would have been at right here. That's the 105. These are the candles in which we were looking. This gave us our beautiful kind of 97 pips is what I got out of this personally. Not 99, it just happened to play out ideally. So not a bad trade at all. Of course, we did push up a few more levels. We're getting we got a potential sell. And again, right now with where price is at, I'm not looking for any confirmation to continue, but we got a really safe 100 pips, so what does it matter? GM was the one we actually took a loss on, or I took a loss on personally, not because it was wrong, just timing. That's real life, it's real trading. This ended up pushing up another level right beyond activating. So if I go find the candle we were looking for, kind of activated right there on that spot. So I was in that trade, right? Smaller time frame analysis. Not enough room to get our pips out of it. I mean, if you protected after 50, you might have been okay, but it's just too close. So for me, I actually lost 120 pips on this one, because here's structure at 71 pips, plus I'm giving it room. So I lost 121 pips. We did push up a whole nother level in total, and now, as of today, I'm actually looking for this to sell back down, but we'll go over that here in a minute. So that was the one loser we did take. Last but not least, which I guess is a great one to go to, because I'm going to pop around some time frames. Here's our silver trade. I'm going to go out even further. I'm going to zoom out. I'm looking for this to long-term buy up. It looks like a baby amount of pips, but remember, this is worth a whole bunch more. This is worth 5 times more per pip than any other pair that you're trading in general. So 300-ish pips, still a room to go. I'm looking to hold this. So yes, we bought it. Yes, we got a total of about 59 pips from where we bought it, which is definitely not a bad way to be. So now I'll zoom in and go there. We said buying after a pullback, which is what we did. So we knew we had to wait for a pullback. So once we got that pullback, of course, we got another confirmation. Even if you got the later entry, that's totally fine. In total, about 59 pips from after that pullback. If I go here, we said, hey, we need to wait until after it pulls all the way back, and we did. So 59 pips in total. I'm looking to hold this long term. This is something that I would have in a separate account, kind of like if you were trading indices or cryptos, have it in its own account and see what you can get out of this. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to have it all figured out. You can do a 0.01 for every $1,000, a point if you're kind of being more conservative. You can obviously go much higher than that if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, and just continue to scalp into this after each pullback that you're getting. Definitely has some long-term potential up for several hundred more pips. So this week I am looking for another entry at the break of this fractal in the 1 hour. It's going to be late. Your stop loss is going to be very, very large. So if that's not what you want, by all means, don't take this, wait for another pullback, wait for it to break out, come back into the zone, and then take it again. For me and mine, since this is more of that longer term kind of swing position trade, I'm looking to hold this. So I'm totally okay with another entry at the break. Totally up to you at the end of the day. So that's one of the first trades we're going to be looking at for the next couple of weeks. Another one is GU. We've got a nice impulse. Currently we're correcting. So I'm not saying you should take this right here. If you notice, first and foremost, we've pushed up. We've come back to where price broke out before. So this is making that famous 4 formation that I kind of talk about all the time. If we break through and we get the continuation, this is going to be a great sell-off for several hundred pips. But we could very easily we came up, or retesting where price stopped, give us another level of push up. So please treat this with a little bit of TLC. Let me zoom in on some of the candles just to see a little bit more clearly. Got a nice impulse down. We've come retest about 38% of that move, and now we're sitting pretty flat. So if you're looking for this entry, yes, you can take the sell on the break of this fractal. You can also wait for price to come and interact with the 50 a little bit closer before you decide to take any further sells, but only take this upon further confirmation. Don't just chase it because you think you want it. So that's on our watch list, or something that I'm actively trading. UCAD is next. UCAD 1 hour time frame. We've got a beautiful brand new buy signal. There are no guarantees. We had this nice push up. We've come back down. We're failing to make lower lows. Our most recent fractal is up here, so that's kind of far. I would be looking at an entry at the break of this 50. So I'm going to put that on my little note at retest of 50 and at break of 50, right? That's going to give me a tighter stop loss and more access to more profit sooner. So think about that. That's about 13 pips from where we're at, and that's an additional 50 pips from that fractal. So for me and mine, I'm looking at taking this buy upon confirmation of the 50 on the 1 hour time frame personally. So if I zoom back out, is there enough room to at least get my 180R? Sure. I'm getting 70 pips out of this. Super, super easy. From that 50 all the way up to where price has stopped before, that's a good 90 pip target overall. You're looking for anywhere between that 90 and 170 pip target. Beautiful possible potential, beautiful potential here. Great risk to reward, not a bad trade to be looking at. So that's USD CAD. Silver we already talked about. EN, I'm actually already in a little bit, but let's go find that on this broker that we use for classes. Of course, it's out of order. There it is. Okay, so this is EN. We got a nice sell signal. This is the 1 hour time frame. So technically, you guys know that I'm only looking at the signals when the candles give us a continuation. So this gave us that continuation. And there's also vectoring. So for me, I'm already in. You guys can wait for the break of this fractal. If I zoom out to kind of give you a clearer picture and go up a time frame, you guys will kind of see what I'm seeing. It's going to get a little ugly and choppy. You've got several formations happening here. We did spring up and make a higher high. We've got the room to come down. Either going to stay in this zone or retest where price broke out. And either of those two scenarios, even if we're only staying in that zone, gives us at least our 50 pips or our 180R, right? Our 2 to 3 ATR totally in the bag, and or up to 4 of the maximum, 4 or 5 of the maximum ADR. So great profit potential here, great risk to reward, right? Even if we're putting it up there with some room, you're still looking at a 3-to-1 risk to reward trade, which is definitely not a bad way to be. So I absolutely love this trade for now. Only take it upon confirmation. There's no need to try to manipulate or force the market with what it's not giving us. So once you get the confirmation, by all means take it. If we continue to push up, wait until you get further confirmation. So you're going to get another buy signal either on the 30 or the 15 if you already have simplicity, if this does continue to push up a little bit more. So just know how to track your trades to get the very, very most out of them. And then let's see, GBP odd. Got it. Same kind of concept. I'm looking for this to sell off. Actually, great time to mention that on my list this week, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 GBP trades. Now, I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. Depending on how long you have been trading, I'm sure at some point or another, you've got yourself into that, over leveraged per currency. So it's not advisable to be in all 4 GBP trades. I would be picking your favorite 2, or the 2 that you feel are most likely or the most promising or have the least amount of, high risk news that could send the market the other way. But don't over leverage yourself per currency, just like we don't over leverage yourself per your account and what it can handle. So don't by any means go think that, hey, well, she said let's look at all 4 of these. I did because they're all potential setups, but you can also obviously pick and choose for what works best for you. Maybe you hate NZD, or maybe you love GU, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you've got a weird situationship with GJ, and that's the one that you always trade or never trade. So do what feels best with you and go take a look and do your own analysis. Pop around some time frames and see which one feels best, looks best, has the most confirmations, and then take 2 at the most. So don't take all 4. But back to G-Odd. We're sitting right here, still kind of in our hot zone, otherwise known as a Fibonacci box. At the break of this fractal, do we have room to stay in that zone and still be hitting kind of our 180R, our couple of ATR? Absolutely. We've got plenty of that room to make that happen. Same kind of concept, bigger time frame. We've got a lot of room to sell off on these. So nice drop. We've edged up quite a bit. We've got a double top, multiple double top formations. Just looking for this to come down into this zone right here. So you figure from where price is currently at, let's see. I know I'm kind of zoomed out on the candles, but that's just so I could show you real quick. Get the 80 to 130 all the way down to about 240 pips. So great potential trade setting up, not ready yet. You're waiting for the break of that fractal. We've got a lot of different formations happening, and GBP had a lot going on, you know, in terms of its currency, right? The whole currency as a whole had a lot going on. So obviously this can still do whatever it wants to do. Our most recent candle is still an impulse bullish candle, which means you're going to trade this a little bit carefully. You're going to be wise about the decisions you make and not just try to force it. So otherwise, we've got some structure we're rejecting off of, and I'm looking for the potential sell-off. That's GBP odd. GJ, we talked about mildly. Let's see, and I'm still looking for this to sell. So we've got a lot of consolidation. We have yet to get the strong push down after that 900-ish pip move that we had. I'll zoom out just to show you. A huge move up. I'll measure it just because. Almost 900 pips, 855 pips, with no actual 20% retracement anywhere in this entire big run. Now, this is the 4-hour time frame, not the time frame we're necessarily looking for a trade, but you can see we're showing the signs of rejection. We're definitely consolidating in this kind of hot zone box. We're again forming another double bottom, so this could definitely become that W to continue up and push another level. So first, of course, we have to address that first and foremost. However, you can wait for the break of this fractal, which is going to be pretty comparable to the break on the 1 hour. But before I go down to that level, I wanted to be on this time frame to show you we've still got a few hundred pips worth of potential on this trade. There are no guarantees, but risk reward, you're still better on the reward than you are risking. So not a bad way to be whatsoever. So let's go back down now to the 1 hour. You see this double bottom forming. We could definitely push up a little bit. So as we start to close candles, if we break these areas, any of these areas, take it as soon as you can. Make sure you're protecting after, 2 to 3 ATR, 50 pips if you're not comfortable with ATR and ADR yet. And make sure that you've got the majority of that bag closed at 180R, or at least some of it. You've got a trailing stop. You've made some actionable decision. And the ADR is best on bigger time frames. I'd be looking closer to that ATR personally. So just another one of those trade potentials. Last but not least, GN. Told you there's a lot of GBP pairs. So for the sake of conversation, again, we've got to zoom out to show you this has been going up for an awful long time. So I'll zoom back in. We've got a lot of formations, a lot of double tops, a lot of different things happening here. Either way, we're failing to make newer, higher highs, right? But we are consolidating. Most recent simplicity signal is up, but we're in this nice zone, which we're kind of starting to really see the downward momentum, the downward pressure. So don't just take this all willy-nilly. Please take it very carefully. Make sure you're protecting within 50 pips or 1 ADR, right? You're definitely protected. This fractal break again is a bit low. So if this closes as a full body candle below this 50, I would be taking it there. My first target, I'm definitely going to be protected after 50 pips on this one. And if you want to see the future targets, we'd have to zoom out, make it really, really ugly. And then some time frames too. But I'm looking for potential of up to about 330 pips. So not a bad trade, especially if you're giving this the room that it needs and you're just letting this play out. You've got management running. You don't need much more. You don't need really anything else. So those are the trades we're looking at for tonight. Again, 2 Tuesdays from now, which is the first Tuesday of February, I'm going to see how many people we actually have participating in the evening class for Super EZ. And if you have questions about, okay, so how does she do her kind of just swing trading with simplicity? What are some questions you have? Because maybe you can't make it to Uncle P's classes in the morning. That would be a great time. So please make sure you either DM me, get your name on the list, DM Miss Donna. She'll let you know, or put it on YouTube and we'll kind of see if we can't make sure that she's there to monitor YouTube or get any of your questions answered, just to be able to help the people live in between. Because we spend so much time in the morning classes talking live, sometimes for 2 or 3 hours at a time. We don't go live a lot with this because it's such a laid back, really low key, simplicity system. So I'll see how often this works out and potentially do that more often. So I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and all the other stuff that helps YouTube do their voodoo. Have a great day and God bless.